Welcome back to another episode of Mixology and Mortgages. We're gonna flip things around. Normally we talk about the educational stuff first and then we get into the actual drink. This time we're gonna make the drink first because it's been in the title this whole time. It's Mixology and then Mortgages. And this one, we're actually not gonna get too deep into the mortgage side of things. I want to recap once again on this amazing event that I went to in Las Vegas. It was called the Forward event and they brought in all kinds of these great speakers. It was mostly for people in the real estate industry as well as the mortgage industry. So if you're in one of those two industries, be sure to check out today's video because I'm going to go over what the one and only Gary Vaynerchuk taught us. He is one of the biggest names out there when it comes to just overall marketing, social media. I mean, this guy is next level. He has been grinding day in and day out to get to the level that he's at today. We only got to hear from him for about 30 minutes on stage, but it was so impactful and the stuff that I learned within that 30 minutes was just absolutely insane. So that's what I want to do today. I want to tell you guys what I learned from Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary Vee. Today I want to start with the cocktail first. That way I can drink it as I talk because that sounds like a lot more fun. Gary Vee is obviously a big wine guy, so this is going to be a wine cocktail. It's kind of a play on a wine spritzer. We're going to be using vermouth, peach brandy, and then the wine is going to be Prosecco in this case. We're just going to build it in the glass, so let's just get right to it. I'm going to get a little bit of ice to fill this thing up with so it's nice and cold. So we're going to start with the vermouth. This one in particular is I have no idea how to pronounce it. I'm probably going to butcher it. It's Italian, and I'm pretty sure when you have two C's together, it makes a ch sound, so Coci Vermouth de Torino? Sure, I don't speak Italian. 1.5 ounces of this vermouth. So just get that in the nice little jigger. We're just gonna pour that right over the ice. A 1/2 ounce of the peach brandy. No particular brand, I mean, they all taste about the same. I'm sure there's expensive ones out there, but for stuff that's just filler drinks, I typically don't like to spend a ton of money on the brandy and that sort of thing. Oh, then we're gonna get a 1/4 ounce of lemon juice. Not a ton of lemon juice in this one, just a touch in there, so I am gonna measure this one out. I typically don't measure these, but since it's only a 1/4 ounce, we don't want it to be too citrusy, acidic or whatever. A 1/4 ounce of there. Top it with the Prosecco. You can use any kind of sparkling wine. Again, Prosecco is an Italian wine, so I figured since we're using an Italian vermouth, that works nicely. And then the other thing you can do is there's Cava, which is a Spanish sparkling wine, or the very classic champagne, which of course is from France. Before we pour the champagne in there, we are going to mix this up since champagne is a sparkling drink. So we're just gonna kind of twizzle that around. Get it nice and mixed up. Whoa, try not to knock the glass over. Then we're just gonna pop the bottle, and then just top it with your Prosecco. So again, kind of a play on a wine cocktail or a wine spritzer. This one is called the King's Landing, which I also thought was appropriate because Gary Vee is the king of social media and the king of marketing. The 30 minutes that I got to hear from him were very impactful, very powerful stuff. So I just want to share a little bit of that with you today. But first, let's try this cocktail. I'm gonna be real, it's not my jam. I'm not a big wine guy. It's kind of like a good glass of wine, but then it also has the Prosecco topper. So Prosecco normally is really, really dry, but because we have the vermouth, which in the end is really just a fortified wine, and then the peach with the lemon, it's kind of like a springy, like it'd be a good springtime cocktail outside, chilling by the pool. I'm sure my wife would love that. So not my particular jam, as I am more of a whiskey bourbon kind of guy. One of my favorite things about the way Gary Vee talks is like he's on stage talking to, I mean, there was probably 200-300 people in this room. He just kind of gets on the same level with everyone. Like I feel like he can somehow connect with every individual in the audience at the same time. Very powerful speaker. First things he brought up was, you know, I'm here, like I've got 30 minutes, we're gonna get in and out, I'm gonna give you everything that I have learned up until this point in my life within this 30 minutes, and then you go and do what you will with it. And that's really the point of why I do these videos. The reason why I attend conferences and things like that is I like to learn as much as I can so that you can maybe use it to help better your business or your life or whatever it is that you're trying to do, because I think these principles, even though they were typically meant for someone in real estate or mortgage or whatever, the principles can be used with any type of business that you have. First thing he talked about was don't get too fancy before you've earned it. I feel like with social media in general, we have so many people that love to show off their fancy watches, their big cars, the Louis Vuitton, the Gucci, get all out there being flashy on social media so people think they're doing really, really well. If you look at guys like Gary Vee and some of these higher ups, very rarely do you see them wearing Louis Vuitton and just wearing all kinds of fancy shit. He talks about, it's okay to buy that stuff, but make sure you've earned it and you're not pretending to do it. Ultimately, the bottom line is authenticity, and I hope that comes through, because I really am sharing this the way I like to do it. Just, this is who I am, and so that's the same reason. So I try to take what he said and then not only share it with you, but make sure I'm living it that same way as well. Then he got into more like economic type stuff. At the end of the day, economy is always going to be supply and demand. And he broke it down even further, saying supply and demand is essentially everything. If you think about it, like if you're a business owner and you have a product that you are selling, depending on how many people want to buy that product is going to overall determine your success. That's one part of it. Second part of it is what he believes in, which is the marketing piece. Let's just say, for example, that you sell wine. If you're not in front of wine drinkers, letting them know that you sell wine, that you have the best wine or whatever it is, they're never going to find you, no matter how good your wine is. The other thing he said, and this one, I wrote it down, it was kind of like a really eye-opening moment. He said, sales is just crappy marketing. If you don't market yourself, you have to let people know who you are. Branding is 100% everything. Why do you think companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, spend millions of dollars on advertising on TV? Everybody knows who Coca-Cola and Pepsi is, but they still continue to drop millions of dollars in advertising so that people are aware of who they are. So let's look at McDonald's, right? It is the largest fast food chain in the world. He was saying he had a chance to talk with the CEO. They don't sell hamburgers, they sell happiness. Why do you think they call it a happy meal? Everything that you look in these marketings, it's all about being happy. It's about enriching other people's lives. If you can show people how it will make their lives better, or how they'll be happier, or how it's going to improve their lives, this is something that is going to be impactful, and it's going to help you get those sales. Without good, strong marketing, you're never going to get the sales that you could potentially be able to get. But marketing is everything, and that was the biggest takeaway I got from him. And he really dove deep into social media. He talked about the biggest platforms and where people are using them. So, obviously we're doing this on YouTube, but there's going to be clips on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. There are multiple platforms, and people use these platforms in different ways. You never want to just go into one platform and that's the only place you are, because you're only reaching a certain amount of people. You can take the same type of content and post it all over these different platforms and reach different audiences. And you might be surprised the type of people that you're reaching. Someone that's using Instagram is going to be a different user that's using Facebook, that's using TikTok. The importance of video. He talked about 80-something% of people are consuming video content online. That is what they want to hear. Here we are, we're doing video, we're living it, we're doing it. But you have to make sure you stay consistent with it, and you have to pump the volume up. Before, when I was doing my marketing efforts over the past few years, and again, I've been doing this for 5 years now, I've really been focused on social media. It started with a post a week, and then twice a week, and then 3 times a week. And I think before I went to this conference, I was posting at least once a day, but not video every day, just something we were posting every day. Well, Gary Vee made a comment that said, if you're not putting out at least 15 pieces of content every single day, with at least 2 of those being video, you are a ghost. People do not see you. They're not seeing your stuff. You're going to get lost in the noise. And that was really shocking to me, because 15 pieces of content, when you think about that, is really overwhelming. How does someone have time without having a crew or people or whatever to do that for you? Then he broke it down even further. He said, it's not as hard as you think. If you make 2 videos and you post them on every single platform, that's like 14 to 16 pieces of content right there. So it was the same sort of thing we were doing. We're just making sure we're putting the reach everywhere else. So I challenge this to you. If you're trying to get yourself known and trying to get people to know about your business, just start posting on all the platforms. The biggest pushback I hear on that from other individuals in this industry is they say, well, I don't really know Instagram, or I'm not Instagram, or whatever platform that they don't use. There's always an excuse as to why they wouldn't be on it. I would challenge you with that and ask you, why wouldn't you do it? What do you have to lose? If you post something and nobody sees it, or you get 2 or 3 views, still better than doing nothing, than not posting it at all, even if it's on a platform that you're not super familiar with. So just get yourself out there, start doing that. People will start to find you. I've noticed it just in my efforts over the past year with the YouTube channel and the social media stuff that we're doing. You got to stop caring about the vanity metrics, the subscribers, the likes. At the end of the day, those don't matter. Put yourself in a position as a small business owner, right? If you had a chance to get in front of a room of 20 people to share your business and your product, would that be valuable? Pretty sure 10 out of 10 some people, depending on their business, would say, absolutely, that's 20 people that I can reach that didn't know about my business before. Now, what if you could do that times 100, times 1,000? That's what social media is. People are engaging on social media. They're talking, they're using it. If you're on there and you're consistent and people see you, if your video gets 30 views, that's equivalent to you being in a room with 30 people sharing your message. Share everything, and I promise you that's going to help you be successful in your business, whatever it might be. But you have to start, right? Don't get tripped up on the quality. You don't have to have fancy equipment, nothing like that. It's all about getting it done, making those efforts, and doing it consistently and having fun with it, right? Like, so, you know, this is why I do the cocktail stuff. I like making cocktails. I like drinking cocktails. So I mix that in with the stuff that I love to do. It makes it unique. People may like it. They may not like it. I don't care. Either way, I'm getting people that are watching it and I'm enjoying it, and I hope that it's enjoyable for you if you are in fact watching this. So those are my biggest takeaways from hearing from Gary Vee at this conference in Vegas. But if you guys have any other comments or questions, maybe things you would have liked to ask Gary Vee, hit me up in the comments. That's all we got for you today. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.